And security expert Kach Onanuju joins me on the news from Abuja via Skype to discuss this. Good to have you join us, Kach Onanuju. Um, in 2020, that was in August 2020, when former President Boubacar Keita was forcibly removed from office from Colonel Assimi Goïta, who formed a transitional government and has now also removed that transitional government. What do you make of what is playing out now in Mali?
Thank you for having me. I will simply tell you that Mali's turmoil has not stopped. I blame it on the West African leaders who have not paid much attention to Mali. Mali's crisis started in 2010. In 2015, there was a peace agreement. Implementing that peace agreement has remained the problem. And that's why you've seen this kind of instability. It was there 10 months ago, is back now again in these removals. That means Mali has remained unstable. As I have always suggested, let the West African leaders come together and agree on a modus for implementation of the old peace agreement. If you do not implement it properly in a way that is actually trusting of the indigenous populations, you will continue to have this problem. Don't forget, Mali and its crisis is the primary reason for the current instability in Nigeria because of the outflow of refugees from Mali has now come to Nigeria and has become like a flood. I said it at the beginning, if we do not solve Mali properly, our inability to resolve it properly will affect the sub-region. It is now affecting the sub-region. Why?
Mr.
The
Onanuju,
influx of refugees here.
Mr. Onanuju, I want to stay on the current development in Mali. And you mentioned ECOWAS and the African Union. Do you think that perhaps they should have insisted that the current transitional government should be demilitarized, as well as monitor the situation going on there, and not think that everything is fine and so Mali has some level of stability when there was no stability at all?
That is true. There is no stability. That's what I'm saying. Mali has become a West African problem. And if we, as I'm saying before, do not actually see it as part and parcel of our own internal security issues, we will continue to have this problem. So I suggest that the West African leaders do more than they have done previously in regards to Mali. If you do not situate Mali peacefully, Mali will continue like a flood to undermine the security interests of the neighboring countries, Nigeria inclusive.
The transitional authorities set February-March 2022 rather, as the date for presidential and legislative elections there. With the recent development, do you see that happening? And what can be done to ensure that that timetable is stayed with?
Well, that timetable is there. When it was put forward, it is put forward for all to actually adhere to. What I'm suggesting is let the sub-regional leaders plus the international players who brought their peacekeeping cause in Mali be part and parcel of this transitional arrangement. Whatever it is that has bred that intolerance or that kind of mistrust, because it is the absence of trust that actually forces the people to do what they have been doing. It is the non-availability of trust. And then when we now try to guide them and guide them in trying to resolve that peace agreement, I think we should do it in such a way that the interest of the indigenous Malians is taken into care. If you don't do that, we will continue to return to this same table. Imagine, since 2010, we've been going through this. We had peace agreement 2015, we've not had it work done well. When Nigeria started visiting the former government, the indigenous people felt maybe Nigeria was trying to exert too much influence in implementation. And that was how the coup occurred last year. So why don't we sit down, look at that which the indigenous people are very, very afraid of, about outside interference, and try to, calm them and build trust. If you don't build trust, we will continue to have this issue repeat themselves time and time and time again.
The UN, AU, and ECOWAS have all issued statements. We'll see how they continue to respond to this development. Security expert Kach Onanuju, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.